Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, geeks, nerds, ambassadors everywhere. It is Saturday night, and welcome to the Ambassadorial Wing, another installment of the Ambassadors Reviews. And hope you all are having a wonderful Saturday night. Hope you all are having a great weekend, and glad you all are here this evening. And as always, if you are brand new to the Ambassadorial Wing, thank you for tuning in tonight. Hope you all enjoy the stream. Hope you all have a good time. And as always, this is an open panel. So if you want to join me as we do our discussion of Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and the last two episodes of Marvel's What If, the link is in the chat. You are all welcome to come in and join me tonight and be a part of the conversation. And it's been a pretty good week for the Ambassador. Can't complain. Wrapped up another day at work and just living life, doing my thing. And well, tonight I'm going to bring you all my review of Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And to my good friend and fellow geek, my fellow ambassador, LDG of Geeks and Joy. LDG, good to see you as always, my friend. Thank you for being here. Hope you're having a good day, my friend. And it's been a while. Well, it hasn't been a long while, but it's been a little bit. It's been a minute. So, but yeah, tonight I'm going to bring you all my thoughts on Venom: Let There Be Carnage and the final two episodes of season 1 of Marvel's What If, and just have a good conversation, have a good time tonight. And I for one, I really enjoy. I'm trying. Good to see you, LDG. I do understand it. Hey, we all have those weekends. It happens. It does. I get it. And if anything, I hope these streams, these reviews that I do for y'all every week help break up the humdrum of your week and just allow you to kick back, relax, and just enjoy life, because life is just too short to just be upset and be angry all the time and just not just say life is good. It can be better. Maxwell Lord, Wonder Woman 1984. And hey, another good friend of the channel, just George. Hey, everybody. George, good to see you. And what if Joker had the Carnage symbiote? Yikes. Yikes indeed. That would be, that would be truly frightening. That would be scary as hell. But I had the opportunity last week, well, actually last Saturday. I got off work and I was like, I had a rough day at work. And I was like, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go see Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I'm just going to enjoy myself. And I will, to kind of start getting into the review, I will tell you all, with no BS, I did enjoy the movie. Now, I do want to give some context. I have still not seen the first Venom. I have been trying like hell to find a copy of Venom, the first one, on Blu-ray anywhere. And it's like searching for El Dorado. If anybody remembers the DreamWorks animated feature, The Road to El Dorado. Nice little flick. I like it quite a bit. But I still have not had the chance to watch the first Venom. And, I've heard from people saying it's really good. Other people say it's right down the middle of the road. It's not great, but it's not bad either. But even though I did not have the chance to watch the first Venom, I will tell you all to, like I said, to get into the review proper. I did enjoy this. I did enjoy Let There Be Carnage. But I think it could have been better. I do. I think it could have been a lot better. I think it could have been. I have a theory, and I can go into that theory right now, and whatever. I believe the version of Venom that was released in theaters is a cut down version. for a couple of reasons in particular. One, I think they've shortened the length to the running time, because I did look at the runtime for the first Venom. It was just a little over an hour and a half. And the same is true here with Venom Let There Be Carnage. And I think they did the same thing here with Venom, but here's another interesting little tidbit for y'all. I think that there is a director's cut, perhaps, or an R-rated cut of this, because as y'all know, Venom Let There Be Carnage is a PG-13 rated movie. But I think, considering the character of Carnage himself being a very extreme, being a very frightening character, being a very deranged character, I think they toned down the violence with Let There Be Carnage for the simple fact that it would have been too much. And I know that Sony and Marvel do have their deal going right now where they're trying to play things down the middle of the road for a number of reasons. One, they're wanting to make sure they can reach as wide of a market as they can, which, hey, it just makes good business sense. Now, I'm not saying they couldn't have released an R-rated version of this and it may have done just as well. That's probably true. But for me, at least, I want to see if there's either a director's cut or if there is an R-rated version of this movie, or maybe even an unrated version of this movie. Because I understand the character of Carnage. I even understand the character of Venom. And these are two very brutal, very violent characters within the Marvel universe. I mean, for heaven's sakes, Carnage and Cletus Cassidy are very violent, very vicious, very bloodthirsty characters. And I, for one, I would say, and just a heads up now, there will be spoilers in this review. I will be going full spoilers. So if you have not seen Let There Be Carnage yet, just a heads up. If you don't want anything spoiled, click away now. But if your spoilers ain't going to bother you, that's fine too. But honestly, I really want to see the R-rated version of this. I want to see Carnage go full bore, bloodthirsty, blood splatter, just absolutely eviscerate everyone in his path. Now, that being said, how I felt about the casting of Woody Harrelson as Carnage originally, my original thoughts were, I'm willing to give him a chance. I want to see what he can do. And I will say this. I think Woody Harrelson was a good casting for the part of Cletus Cassidy and Carnage. I thought he did a very good job. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember him from Natural Born Killers with him and Juliette Lewis. Yeah, Juliette Lewis, because Juliette Lewis was in The People versus Larry Flynn, which is also a Woody Harrelson film. And she was also in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Yeah, I'm thinking of the right person. I thought his casting as Cletus Cassidy was a good move on the part of Sony and the part of the directors and so on. Or director, excuse me. And I will say this. The scenes that Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy is in, he absolutely owns. But again, I say we're not getting the full context with this film, or at least with this edit of the film. So I want to really see a full bore version of Cletus Cassidy and Carnage. Now, as far as Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock / Venom, I liked it. I did. I liked him. I liked his portrayal of Eddie Brock and Venom. Granted, I've only seen clips of the first Venom movie. I haven't seen the full thing, but I will say I did like it. I did like Tom Hardy in this role. I thought he did a good job. I understand a lot of people have criticism that this isn't like the Eddie Brock that we're accustomed to from the main Marvel universe, the one that's a direct rival and a direct antagonist towards Peter Parker and aka Spider-Man. I get that. But when Sony started this whole Venomverse or whatever they're calling it now, the Spider-Man expanded universe or whatever the blay hell they're calling it, they didn't have the full licensing for all the characters at the time, or they were trying to do something different at the time because Marvel and Sony had their deal with the Tom Holland Spider-Man. So what they did, I thought, was actually fairly creative in a lot of ways, is trying to bring this character to life, but without it being directly connected to Peter Parker. Now, I will tell you all, I will get into my discussion of the mid-credits scene and how I felt about it. So, but honestly, I did truly like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock and Venom. Again, I am a Tom Hardy fan. I like him as an actor. He has done a lot of movies that I've really enjoyed, both big budget and small budget alike. So, I didn't have a I thought his portrayal as Eddie Brock was realistic. I thought it was really good. And shout to the chat, Shandoko. Shandoko, good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Dropping by real quick. I enjoyed Venom 2 for the most part, but I felt that it could have developed its plot better and really could have benefited from a longer runtime. Yeah, Shandoko, I honestly do agree with that. I actually was mentioning that before you came in. Again, you're going to hear me say this a few times throughout this stream tonight, guys. I want the longer cut of this movie. I want to see what they removed. As I mentioned, I know they probably removed a lot of the blood and guts in terms of Carnage as part of this movie and Shriek as well. But I also believe that they cut a lot of other parts of this movie out for the runtime. So I don't want to just see this for the blood and guts involving Carnage. I want to see the breakdown of Venom and Eddie's partnership. And I also want to see what else was removed from this movie. I want to see the relationship between Brock and that one detective. Trying to remember his name off the top of my head, but I can't right at the moment. But the one the one that has the connection back to Shriek, Carnage's girl, or Eddie, not, Cleus Cassie's girlfriend, the one that he met when they were both in the. Oh, Marcus. Marcus, I love you, man, but all right, I will address your question, and then I'm getting back on the main topic. Ambassador, sorry for being off topic, but can Franco Richards' full power beat Superman and Dr. Manhattan? Maybe. I'd have to do some research, Marcus. You got to. That's what I'm going to say. Maybe. Possibly. I'm not going to say for sure that he could or he couldn't beat both Superman and Dr. Manhattan. Maybe. So, anyway, back on topic. The big thing for me with this film is going to be when it comes out on home video and getting either a lot of deleted scenes and stuff that they cut out of the movie for runtime and for violence, obviously, but also um, getting more context in terms of the story between Venom and Eddie. Because as I understand it, at the end of the first movie, they had come to an understanding where Eddie and Venom would kill people, but kill bad people. Venom would get to eat bad people. He would get to eat their brains. And I think that's one thing that really wasn't fleshed out particularly well, because we get the impression that Venom isn't at full strength. And the reason he isn't at full strength, mm, Marcus, that's a possibility. I'm going to have to do some research on the various characters that are connected to Venom. I don't know a whole lot about Null. So I'll have to do some digging on that one and everything, and I'll do a follow up on that particular question, Marcus, for sure. But I get they d- they didn't flesh out the fact that Venom has to eat human brains to keep his strength up, and Eddie has only been allowing him to eat chicken brains and a lot of chocolate. Now, I don't know if him eating people is having an adverse effect on Eddie or whatever, but I, for one, I want that extra context. I want to know why exactly Eddie or Venom is not as strong as he should be. And oh, hey, well, looky here. Hey, George, been a while. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Cannot complain. Cannot complain. So, I'm assuming I think I saw your post on Twitter. You saw Let There Be Carnage, right?
Yeah, I've done 2 reviews on it on YouTube and for my friend's site, The Movie Nerds.
Okay, okay. Well, your thoughts on it? Because I unfortunately I haven't had a chance to watch the stuff that you've put out. So, what did you think of Let There Be Carnage?
So I'm gonna say this as someone who wasn't crazy about the first film. I had a lot more fun with this film. It felt a lot
Mm-hmm.
more quicker. It had a better villain.
Mm-hmm.
The second act I wasn't huge on, other than the Carnage stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, it kind of reminded me of like the first two Blades and the Wolverine, where it's a
Mm-hmm.
comic book movie that understands it's not Dark Knight, it's not Spider-Man 2, it's not Avengers or Winter Soldier or Logan. It's a
Mm-hmm.
fun, action-packed comic book movie that will either go rated R or use that PG-13 rating to the limit. It reminded me of the Wolverine where it was on that border, like it
Mm-hmm.
was a PG-13 movie, but it wanted to be rated R at times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got the same impression myself, and well, as you probably heard me say, and I know I've been on a few other streams that discuss this. I have a sneaking suspicion that there's either one of two things going on here. They either cut a lot of stuff out for the runtime and for the rating, and there's a director's cut, or there's a R-rated cut of this movie. Now, either one I'd be happy with.
Yeah, I think
If
there's definitely an R-rated cut. I think there was an R-rated cut for the Wolverine. I'm not 100% sure, but
mhm. There might have been. I'd have to do some digging on that, honestly. But as I said at the start of the stream, I do understand that Sony and Marvel are wanting to get as much bang for their buck as they can. So I do understand why they cut the time down on this movie to get as many showings in as they could, but also they had to cut out the violence and the gore in terms of Carnage and Venom and everything as well. I get it. I'm not like antagonistic towards it, but at the same time, I wanted to see Venom and Carnage go full bore. Now we get a taste of that in the final battle between the two of them, and we also get a taste of that in the prison break with Cletus Cassidy, and also when he breaks into Ravenscroft to get his girlfriend to get Shriek out. So and Jeff B, good to see you, bud. Thank you for popping by tonight. Just in case you're wondering, we're talking about Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and later on, we'll be talking about the final 2 episodes of What If. Oh, Jeff B, that'd be scary. Hulk with a
man.
symbiote, as if he can't cause enough damage as it is. Let's give him even more powers. Oh, we're so screwed. The Marvel universe would be so screwed. But anyway, um, George, let me ask you, as someone who saw the first film, how did you feel about the progression with Eddie and Anna's relationship, their arc? Did it feel natural? Did it feel like it was kind of shoehorned, or feel like it wasn't a natural progression? What were your thoughts on that?
So like with like the relationship in like the first film, like I'm trying to say this without like kind of spoiling the movie for you. Like
Oh,
it
hey, no,
starts like the
if you
beginning of the
if you
film, like
mhm,
he like they have a solid relationship, but ultimately he does something to that messes it up, that pushes her into the arms of that guy that she's with.
Dan.
So yeah,
Dan.
Dan. Yeah, Dan. Everyone likes to make fun of Dan. So and like I mean, like towards the end of the film, like him and Anne became friends again, but not together again.
Mm-hmm.
So like really like their relationship was one of those where unlike other films like superhero films where you see there's no relationship and then there's a relationship, there was a
Mm-hmm.
relationship. Eddie screwed it up and that's basically where they go from there. Now I do think they care for one another, but again, like because of
Mm-hmm.
Eddie's decision making and again like add Venom into the mix, it would be pure chaos obviously for her life from what I can
Mm-hmm.
tell.
Yeah. And just want to welcome another guest. Everybody, you know him, you love him. He is the master of all things wrestling and all things sports and all things nerdy. The one and the only AWO, Aaron of the Aaron World Order.
What's up?
Aaron,
Aaron, good to
yeah.
see you, man.
I was sorry, man. I came a little late. I was just testing
No,
out
no, it's
some
a,
new ways to stream video games. I found
oh, you're
I
good.
found a way to stream Xbox without a capture card now.
Oh, good. Right on. So,
Yeah.
talk about Let There Be Carnage, and go be talking about What If later on tonight or later on during
Oh
the
yeah.
stream.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Aaron, your thoughts on Let? I'm assuming you've seen Let There Be Carnage, right?
Yeah, I saw it last Friday. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think? Did you like it? Did you thought it was down the middle? Was it? What were your thoughts on it?
I liked it. Look, it's a solid film. It's not a great comic book movie. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I would say if I had to get like where if I had a scale between 1 to 10, and to me it's probably like a 6, which is
Okay.
which is okay. Um, I thought overall, I thought Woody Harrelson was the best part of the whole movie. He played Cletus Cassidy, like
Mm-hmm.
how I respect Cletus Cassidy. Yes, it's not like rated R. You expected more like you expected Venom to be a more rated R character, but I thought he played it out. He made you scared. Like the way he was in the prison. That's how a serial killer like thinks, right? That's how an insane serial killer
Mm-hmm.
thinks. That they want you to get scared of, intimidated by. I thought, look, the movie was. I thought the movie was slow at first, right? Like for the first half, it was
Mm-hmm.
slow, and then when it picked off, especially, obviously we're doing spoilers, right?
Yes, yeah, full
And the movie
spoilers.
picked.
I think
So the movie, yeah. So the movie picked up around halfway point when basically when Carnage broke out
mm-hmm.
of the death row of getting ejected in with the ejections for his death penalty. That's when the movie
Right.
started really take a much faster pace. I
Mm-hmm.
felt maybe it was a little rushed because it's an hour and a half movie.
Yeah.
But I liked it. Like it's a late 90s, early 2000s comic book movie.
Reminded me of Blade.
Say that one more time, George.
It reminded me of Blade, like the action and like the style, like as Aaron brought up, like late
Yeah.
'90s, early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as someone who that was the primary form of comic book movies back in the late 90s. They were kind of very action oriented, very limited on the story element per se.
And then most of them weren't good.
Yes, a lot of them weren't particularly good, unfortunately.
I think X-Men turned the tide on that.
Oh yeah, X-Men and Blade especially, and Spider-Man. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm still going to be doing that stream at some point, either sometime this month or next month, on Marvel before the MCU and everything, because I know there were a few people that wanted me to do that, but just I've been talking Marvel so much, and don't get me wrong, I love talking Marvel, I love talking DC, I love talking comics, but I just occasionally I need a change of pace. So, but in terms of I think, like I've mentioned, there's a lot that I think was cut out of this movie for the runtime, and I think a lot of it was character building time with both Eddie and with Cletus. And I really want to see a deep dive on both these characters because they are both, especially for Eddie, he's at a very transitional time in his life. I mean, he's trying to live with Venom, but they've become very antagonistic towards one another,
Yeah.
and they're not able to coexist anymore. And I don't know if it's because Venom is so demanding, or what the case, wherever the case may be. But honestly, I want to see what was cut out of this movie, because I think it would give a lot more context for us as to what the situation between Carnage, or between Eddie and Venom is. And it would also, I imagine, aside from a lot of the violence and the gore that would be associated with Carnage, I think it would also give us a lot of context into Cleus's state of mind, in terms of, here's a guy who is very damaged psychologically. He is extremely messed up in the head. And I'm not saying that to be mean or rude. It's just a simple fact of the matter. The
That's a
guy is a
fact.
sociopath.
Absolutely.
He is a sociopath.
From like the
And
beginning of it as a child.
yeah, you could almost say he is like the Marvel equivalent of Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
I mean, now granted, Hannibal Lecter, that's a different type of insanity, quote unquote. But at the same time, you get the impression that Cleus Cassie is not the type of person you want to be around for any length of time at all. It's just not the case.
Unless you're
And
his girlfriend. Because that was real love.
yeah, and I get, I think I mentioned this, and I've mentioned it a few times on some other streams and so on. I got a very strong Natural Born Killers vibe from his performance in this film.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wanted to see them allow Carnage / Cletus to really cut loose and do what Carnage is known to do, and that is just absolutely wreak havoc on everything and everyone around him. I mean, because he is like a hurricane of just blood spatter and just gruesomeness. And we got just the teensiest tip of the iceberg with full bore blood spatter on the walls Carnage in this film. So
Yeah.
go ahead, Ed. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, just because I agree with you that really in the prison,
Oh.
that's most of the chaos he caused. When he was free like in the, well, technically he broke out, but when he was like driving around, he just basically steal a car. He bashed the convenience store clerk. He didn't really cause chaos, you know. Okay, that one scene when on the bridge, the Venom sim the not the Venom the Carnage tentacle picked up the truck and threw it over the bridge, but he didn't really cause. That's the only chaos you really saw.
Yeah,
Because
like I
Venom and Carnage only met at the end of the film. That's it.
yeah, I think I'm gonna keep saying this, and I don't want to sound like a broken record. There was a lot that was cut out of this movie.
Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion we didn't get everything that was in the original cut of this film. And despite that, as you both said, I enjoyed this film. I went in, like I said, after work this past Saturday, and I sat down. I got my popcorn, I got my drink, and I sat down and watched the movie. And I was like, I enjoyed this, even though I have not seen the first one. I really enjoyed this. It was the perfect way for me to unwind after a rough day at work. And I will say this, there was a decent crowd in my theater. I go to a small little local theater. It's a franchise of a theater, but the crowd in the theater was solid. Of course, around here in Indiana, a lot of people aren't terribly concerned with the Delta variant. We recognize that it is happening, that people are getting sick and people are suffering from it. But we've been fairly fortunate where I live, and it's not been as bad as it has been for everybody else. And I do feel for everyone that has been affected by the Delta variant and by COVID in general. It sucks ass. But I will say this: people are going back to the theater.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely.
The theaters in my area, you look at the parking lots on the weekend, the parking lots are full. Not as full as maybe they would be, but they are still full, and that is a good sight to see. And to my good friend from across the pond, the lovely, the talented, the smart as a whip, Lady Yvette Diavol. The Yvette, good morning or good evening where we're at, and good to see you. And I might try and stop by LDG's later tonight if he happens to his late night geekasm or nerdgasm. So hopefully I'll get a chance to talk to you later, my dears. So thank you for being here. And Jeff B. An anticipated director's cut has to make money too, I suppose. Jeff B. I think it would be very unwise for Sony and for Marvel not to release a director's cut of Let There Be Carnage, because that is just like, I think if there's a strong enough response by the fan base and by the general public, yeah, we want to see the full version of this film. Give it to us. I think. Thanks, Yvette. You have a good morning, ma'am. We'll talk to you later. So, I think it would be, as I was starting to say, I think it'd be very unwise for Sony and for Marvel not to put together some sort of director's cut of this film if it does in fact exist. And it wouldn't take much for them if the footage is all there to just put it together, burn it onto a disc, and release it. It's just that simple. So,
I'm sure there's something there.
Yeah.
There has to be. I mean,
if all of us at once got on Twitter or on social media and said, at Andy Serkis, is there a director's cut that has more context but also more blood and gore of Let There Be Carnage? Would you tell us? It's as simple as that. We just recently had earlier this year we got Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, granted, that was a much more different situation. Obviously, I get that, but
yeah, if Zack Snyder had his Justice League movie, I guarantee it would not be like that. The 4 hour thing it would be totally different. We had it this way.
Yeah.
Well, I think also because the reception to this film, like by fans, has been a lot more positive than Justice League from 2017. So I don't know how. Like, I think there is some kind of cut. I don't know how big of a cut. I think though, because like the reception to this film has been better than the first Venom film, even by regular critics, and like audiences have given it pretty good scores. I think there'll be a demand, but I don't think it's gonna be as demanding as Snyder cut.
Maybe, but again, I
would love to see it. I definitely would love to see it, though.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually
release the Carnage cut.
Although I'm going to be honest, this is like the third film with Venom in it: Spider-Man 3, Venom, and Venom Let There Be Carnage. This is probably my favorite one with Venom in it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is like the better of the three, in my opinion.
Damn, that sucks.
What?
Well, I'm looking up the week two box office for Let There Be.
Oh yeah, it dropped.
Oh man, that hurts.
Well,
huge drop off.
Well, here's the two reasons. Number one, No Time to Die came out this weekend, so
that is true. Yeah,
because I did see that earlier. I saw that earlier today as well.
And
second of all, in some countries, it's not coming out until at least next weekend.
Yeah,
and I think the week after. So they kind of botched up the release in other countries because it felt like they're going back and forth, because this was supposed to come out for us next weekend, but then after Shang-Chi, they bumped it up 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really the timing that hurt it.
Yeah, I think they would have been better off if they had left Let There Be Carnage for like the last week in September, maybe, because that would have still given Shang-Chi plenty of leeway to make its money and everything. And I'll say this: Shang-Chi, as far as I've heard, it's broken even, and it's making
Mm-hmm.
it's going to make its money back. I'm not even remotely worried about that. And to the chat, Tyler, good to see you. And he says, Seneca for sure for this Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Yeah, right, Tyler, I cannot say I disagree. And I will bring up Marcus's comment here real quick. 1 second, guys. Having known the MCU, then the Sonyverse makes more sense. The budget and scale, and it's just so amazing. Like I said, I'm gonna have to do some background on Null because I don't know a whole lot about that particular character. So,
Yeah, I don't know
but
either. I think he's like the symbiote equivalent to Thanos, I think. I haven't really followed him, but it sounds like he's like the
that's
the king of symbiotes, I think.
he might be. He might be.
I
So
did hear a rumor on Twitter that apparently Sony wants to have not just Spider-Man and Venom, but their other characters like Morbius and even I think Toby and Andrew's Spider-Man and have like a big event film with Null as the main villain in the future. I don't know how true that is, but I can see them for their Sony verse, at least with Spider-Man, this version of Venom, and maybe Morbius and other Sony characters. I can see that.
that could potentially work. I'm not gonna say it couldn't. It could potentially work. But the big question is, how long is Venom going to be in the main MCU? Because obviously we had that mid-credit scene, the one that everybody was talking about, everybody and their mother. And honestly, um, I stick around for it because I knew it was coming. And it's amazing what you can do with a few well-placed shots and a few lines of dialogue. You can really open up the possibilities for something like Venom going into the main MCU. Now, I don't know if you guys heard my theory that I talked about a few days ago or not, but I can present it here and everything just in case you hadn't. In terms of Venom and his connection to other branches of the Marvel universe. It goes like this: when he says, "You do not understand the knowledge that we symbiotes hold of universes."
Mm-hmm.
And that entails multiverses. My theory goes as this: the Venom that we saw in Spider-Man 3 is a variant or an offshoot of the Venom symbiote in general. And the Venom that we know from these two movies with Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, that Venom symbiote has knowledge of the other Venom symbiote or he has knowledge of the other Venom symbiote, and that's why Venom knows who Spider-Man / Peter Parker is. Now, I don't know how Venom's going to play a part in the main MCU and how long he's going to be there. We can just all we can do is speculate at this point. But I think what that mid-credit scene did was really and not to mention it really expanded the universe, yes, but it also told us how Doctor Strange's spell in No Way Home is going to function. Peter isn't going to be pulled out of the universe in which he exists. Other people are going to be brought into the
His universe,
universe,
yeah.
into the universe that he exists in.
The
So,
MCU universe. Yeah, they're gonna
yeah,
be pulled into the MCU universe.
Well,
they're pulling, which means they're
The
also
main
going to
MCU universe.
yeah, exactly. Which means they're going to be pulling Doc Ock, Alfred Molina, and Norman Osborn.
Otherwise,
Um,
otherwise, the mid-credit scene, Venom and Tom Hardy would not be appearing in somebody else's hotel room if
yes,
they changed universes, right? If it was the same if they changed the universes, that's why when when that whole thing happened in mid-credit scene, he got teleported in the MCU main universe. And that's why the TV saw him on the TV.
Mhm.
Peter Parker.
Well,
when he was deduced as Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
And
And remember, Daily Bugle was in Daily Bugle was in 2 universes. His universe and in the MCU universe.
say that one more time, Aaron. I didn't quite
The
catch
Daily
it.
Bugle is in 2
Oh,
universes.
the Daily Bugle. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the MCU universe and also in his universe because he wrote for them, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Peter.
Hey, Nate.
Hey, Nate. Nate, I've seen you in a lot of others chats, and I've seen you over in Saggy's Discord. It's the first time I've seen you here, so welcome.
He's
Thank
always
you for
in my
popping by
chats.
tonight.
Yeah, he's always in the Aaron's chat.
Yeah, Nate, good to see you, and thank you for popping by. Appreciate it. So, and I'll just say you all this as a little note of pride. Obviously, I work today. I don't work in that particular department in the store I'm in, but we got a new, we got a shipment of Marvel Legends figures, and they actually had some of the No Way Home figures.
Oh, yeah.
I got Jameson and I got Strange.
Wait, it just came out? I pre-ordered those. I didn't get them yet. From EB. What the hell?
Yeah, I got. Oh man, I'm so jealous right now.
Okay, guys, carry on and everything. I'll be right back. Just give me a minute.
All right.
Cause oh my god.
Oh man. Like I gotta get back into toy collecting again because I just recently bought like some DVDs off of Amazon. So because I collect DVDs still as well, so I'm like collecting DVDs and figures at the same time. But
oh my god, because I pre-ordered some. Let's see what I pre-ordered. I'm on my EB transaction list. What did I pre-order for Spider-Man? I did pre-order Jonah Jameson. Yeah. I also pre-ordered Doctor Strange, the Shocker, Hammerhead, and another Spider-Man figure. Unfortunately, Hobgoblin sold out because Hobgoblin would be definitely one to be pre-ordered. Like,
but if they release any of the figures for any of the movie villains, I definitely want to get out from Lena's Doc Ock because my old one is broken, like from 2004, 2007. I can't remember when. Like the tentacles, the mechanical arms broke off of that, so I need to get a new out from Lena.
They're releasing the Eternals one soon. Like they're on sale. The Eternals pre-ordered figures.
If the Goblin suit is updated and looks really cool, I'm gonna also get the Green Goblin as well because I heard like the costume is gonna be updated.
Oh really? For the movie?
Yeah, like I don't know, like if you saw like some of those leaked images that were coming out around the time the first trailer came out.
Oh yeah, I did.
So like they showed like Doc Ock like in like what looked like a prison because the leakers keep saying there's a prison that the villains are gonna be in that Doctor Strange has. So Doc Ock obviously still has his Spider-Man 2 costume. Electro looks normal, but he's got like a construction worker outfit. It looks like on, and
just give him that. Just give him his traditional Electro costume.
And Green Goblin, the costume like it looks like the top part, like this part, kind of looks a little similar to the comic book costume. Now I don't know, and I keep hearing it's gonna look like that. So there's no.
Is he gonna have the purple with the purple?
I don't know yet. I couldn't get a full look at the costume because it's kind of hard to look. I just got Willem Dafoe's
I really
face.
do want a Hobgoblin to join the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Sonyverse one day. Hobgoblin.
Well, now the Ambassador. Yeah, I do have a question though. Like with this Venom Spider-Man thing, do you guys think this Venom versus Spider-Man film that they want to set up is going to either be in Venom 3 or Spider-Man 4? Because personally, I think Venom needs Spider-Man in his film more than Spider-Man needs Venom in his film.
I think it depends. It depends based on we have to see. I think it depends on No Way Home because when we saw the McCarthy scenes, he was seen to be Peter. He was revealed to be Spider-Man, Peter Parker, right? But in No Way Home, we know what happens, right? Like we saw in the trailer, what happens when he wants all that to go away, Peter, right? Because all this chaos. So I think we're gonna need to see Spider-Man No Way Home to answer that question first, because What if? Oh, you're muted, by the way. So what I was
Okay.
saying, because what if everything is after No Way Home is fine, or and then all that about Spider-Man being revealed between Peter Parker goes away. Will that change everything? What happened in the mid-credit scene? I don't know. We have to really see from No Way 3, No Way Home. That may answer that question.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And I will
Yeah.
bring Peyton Nate's comment here. I'll be honest with y'all, Venom 2 was meh. It was a meh movie. I mean, Carnage was everything that I expected, but I have two problems on the GD rating with this PG-13 crap. Yeah, Nate, I will agree with you on that because honestly, I think they could have gotten away with an R rating for this. It would probably made just as much money.
You know the
Probably
reason they got
made-
away with. You know the reason they went PG-13. Mid-credit scene.
Yeah, I know because the MCU and Kevin Feige. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason.
All right.
That's the only reason.
Now that I've
Because they want the kids to see
kept y'all
that.
waiting, here's today's
All
two
right.
latest editions.
Oh,
that's
my
beautiful.
goodness. That is so cool. I definitely
The
need a Doctor
box is-
Strange figure.
The box is just a little rough around the top, but it's a good shape. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then here's the other fella of the hour. You know him, you hate him, and I mean that most legitimately. J. Jonah
Nate.
Jameson.
Oh,
Oh, that's
man.
awesome. Oh yeah, it looks so good. Like
Yeah.
Nate, you know
He's got a
the
couple
reason
extra. He's got a couple extra hands. He's got an extra head. So
yeah, extra head.
but, you know what?
I remember
went-
when the two.
The reason why she has that power is because she's a mutant.
Yeah, I know. Now, I did bring a few things out
It's a
because these
hint.
are things I haven't really shown anybody. I got this several months ago, back during the summer and everything, on one of my trips down to check on my mom's cat and everything. And I was exhausted. I needed a little bit of a break, so I stopped by my one of the local comic shops and everything, and I saw this in a case, and I was like, I want this the case in the back, please. And guys, I will get to your comments, so don't worry. But
Nice, Thanos.
Awesome.
yep, it's from a company called Beast Kingdom D Stage. I would take it out of the box, but it's a pain in the neck to get it out of the box. I might do some little videos of some of this stuff, but then I also got I've got one more of these to get because I've actually got. He's missing an arm, but there's Ursa Major.
Nice.
Yeah. He is a Build-A-Figure for this particular line of Marvel Legends. I've got Ironheart.
Yeah,
All right.
with the extra head.
Yeah. Darkstar.
Mm-hmm.
Classic Ultron.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Everybody's like, we hate you, 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 we hate you. Holographic Iron Man.
Oh.
Why does a vampire create more? Okay. Let's get back
Is
to the
it a
comments
joke
and
or
I'll
is
show
it-
some more stuff here.
There could be a joke, Jeff, or is it an actual question? Because it sounds like a joke. Like us.
Okay, hang on. I'm trying to get Nate's. Second, with it being going on with Shriek, so you're telling me that she had the power all along, BS, and not only that, why didn't Cassidy do the same thing for Shriek, a bloody wedding for a reason? You've been shown. Well, actually, no, Jeff, here's the thing. I don't even work in that department. I work in another department in the store that I'm at. It just so happens I occasionally meander. Oh, and hey, Zach, good to see
He wants
you.
to work at. He wants to work at a department, but he just doesn't.
No, I'm actually happy where I'm at. I am. I'm happy. Okay.
I mean,
Why did he give her the blood Jeff, why did he give her the blood to turn her into a symbiote? Why does a vampire create more of their kind? Okay, I get that. No, Jeff B, I don't work in the toy department. I wish, but Zach, good to see you. I haven't seen you yet. Heard it's good. Zach, it's as Nate said a few minutes ago. It's it's not terrible, but it's not like the greatest thing ever, but it's solid. Something that a theory that I have, and I'll tell you this means you just popped in, Zach. I think there is an extended cut, an R-rated cut of this film that gives us more context with all
He's
the
not the only
different
one
with
that
all the
theory.
characters and so on. So, but that's just
You're
my
not the
two
only
cents on
one.
it.
You're not the only one. I have a theory too. Like,
Yeah.
you're not the only
Yeah.
one.
So, I do have just a few more I want to show off real quick. I got the stealth armor Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Now, this I actually got for it was one of my 2 birthday presents that I used the $50 gift card that my in-laws got me for eBay. No, Zach, let me say this. It's like I said, it's not bad. I think you will enjoy it. If you enjoyed the first Venom movie, if you've enjoyed the Marvel movies, you will enjoy it. I'm not trying to dissuade you from going to see it. If you're intending on going to see it, go see it. Anything, because there is good stuff in the film. So don't take what I'm saying as dissuasion to not go see this film. I think you should. I think, like I said, I think you may enjoy it, or you may come out and you may hate my guts for telling you to go see it. But regardless, the other thing, for those of you who know, they started releasing the Infinity Saga figures and other things from the Infinity Saga for the first 3 phases of different
MCU, yeah.
figures and so on. And well, I got this guy.
oh wow, that's first movie.
The Mark III. Yep.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got it through eBay. So, yeah, I've been busy.
Nice.
And I've got a few more over here. Most of you know I am a huge fan of this particular character. He is one of my all-time favorite villains of the Marvel Universe. For he is Doom.
Oh my.
I think this is shoot, wasn't supposed to do that. Doom, I know you do your own thing, but still. He's missing a few parts, but I may try and get the other parts down the road. All right, Zach, you have a good night, bud, and thank you for popping by. I don't want to spoil anything for you, so go check it out and let me know what you think. But yeah, this is Doom. This is the real Doom. This isn't some weird looking non-Doom like we got in Fan 4 Stick. This is Dr. freaking Doom. As if even his helmet comes off. I am Doom. You will go see Venom, Let There Be Carnage, or I will come and crush you. Sorry, that's my Dr. Doom voice. Oh, we lost Aaron. Dr. Doom scared off Aaron. Aaron, come back. Please come back. Oh. Or maybe he just got tired of me showing up. I'll bring up Tyler's comment here. I wonder if Venom eats Topher Grace Venom and says he tastes effing awful. Oh, Tyler, that's hilarious. Let's see, Jeff B. I'll bring up your comment here. Like the Iron Man and Doom, I guess I'm old. I'm old school. Yeah, Jeff. I understand that. So, and then of course I got this one too. Now this is kind of beat up, but I really liked it. I saw it. I wanted it. It's actually from the original Fantastic Four. Let's see. This is from 1994. I was actually a freshman in high school when this particular line came out. I saw it. I wanted it. I got it. I paid $20 for it. Can't complain. So, anyway, well, and to the chat, Tim talks. Tim is good to see you, bud. just talking about Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. I think we're going to maybe transition over to the last couple episodes of What If and everything. So, George, any other thoughts on Let There Be Carnage? What do you think?
Oh, I had a very very good time with the film. I find this pretty interesting. And what's interesting is like car. So just to, like sum something up. So like last week I started a series about like how I like found YouTube and like some of the first channels I watched. So
Mhm.
it was back in 2008 and it was like fake Spider-Man 4 trailers, and I remember a lot of the fake Spider-Man 4 trailers from 2008, 2009. It was like the movie rabbit hole at the time on YouTube. Like it was like a few years after YouTube began. They all thought Carnage was going to be the villain in Spider-Man 4. Now we kind of know what happened. Spider-Man 4 later got canceled. But now
Yeah.
13 years later, we got Carnage in this film, and we might get Tobey Maguire returning in No Way Home. So it's funny how like things work out 13 years later, where you had these fake trailers that thought Carnage was going to be the villain in this film, even though Raimi didn't plan on having him, and we eventually got Carnage. And even though like I would have liked to have seen more Venom Carnage action, I was satisfied with how Carnage looked, and I was very entertained.
Yeah, I'm fine with them bringing Venom in to the main MCU. Don't know for how long he'll be there, but for however long he is there, I'm good with that because it's just going to make the universe even richer. And, you know, some people may call me a Marvel fanboy. All right, fine. I'm a Marvel fanboy. I like Marvel. I grew up reading Marvel as a kid, so I guess I am a fanboy. That doesn't mean I dislike other comic book franchises. I don't. But Marvel's where I live. Oh, here he is.
Yeah, I'm
Welcome
back.
back,
Sorry,
Aaron.
but actually, my internet ran out and I had to go to the bathroom. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay, dude. Hey, you gotta go. You gotta go. No,
Oh yeah.
no hard feelings here. I don't want your teeth to start floating in the back of your mouth. So, Aaron, we're probably gonna switch over and we're gonna discuss the last couple episodes of What If and everything. But and we can always come back to Let There Be Carnage or anything later in the stream if y'all want to. That's fine with me.
Okay.
But any final thoughts you want to give on Let There Be Carnage?
Okay. So Let There Be Carnage. It's a solid movie. It's about like a solid movie. When I mean solid, it's passable. Like it's passable. It's not great. Like when I say solid, guys, if you're into sports, to me, a solid player means someone that's useful to the team that'll help out your team. Not a star, not a superstar, but someone who will help you win.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think of this movie. And yes,
that's fair.
There's some people didn't like it. I was on a stream with RJ last week with someone who didn't like it, and he knows who it is.
I think I was on that stream.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah, you know who it is.
Yeah, it was Metaverse. He didn't care for it.
Yeah, and there's some people that didn't like it. The pace really picks up in the second half, but it was fine for what it was. It's if you like the late 90s, early 2000s comic book movies, this is what it was. And if you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen it, watch it and stay for the mid credit scenes.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure. 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 was my rating that I gave when I was over with Enosh and with RJ this past weekend. And to the chat, Ferris Geeks World, Ferris, good to see you. And he asks, hey, Ambassador, I'm a fan of the Venom characters in the comics. I was kind of disappointed that Venom has no connection to Spider-Man in the first movie. Do you think it's a necessary change? I kind of mentioned this earlier on in the stream, Ferris, and everything, and I don't mind repeating myself here in this case because you were not here, and for those that weren't here earlier. Honestly, I was okay with the fact that Venom didn't have a direct connection to Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, in these particular films. But I think what they did with the mid-credit scene was create a connection that did make logical sense. As I mentioned before, and Ferris, for you being you weren't here, my theory goes as this: when Venom is talking to Eddie in the mid-credit scene, and he mentions that the symbiotes share a hive consciousness or a hive collective consciousness, and that they have knowledge of universes. My theory is this: the Venom that we see in Spider-Man 3 is connected to the Venom that we see in these two films, and that they share a connection to one another across universes because it's comic books. You can make that sort of thing happen. It doesn't necessarily have to be based on any real science or any real fiction or any real physics. You can just make that sort of thing happen. It's a comic book movie, and most people will accept it. So that's why I think Venom reacted the way he did when he saw Tom Holland, Peter Parker on that TV screen with J. Jonah Jameson giving his update broadcast or another just bashing broadcast on Peter Parker. So that's my theory. Take it for what you want. If it doesn't make a lick of sense, that's fine. Not gonna hurt my feelings. If you agree, okay, cool. So, but I have been looking forward to this phase or these phases of the MCU for a while now. I'm actually going to do a couple of videos for these movies, but I'm going to do a primer for Dune, and I'm also going to be doing a primer for Eternals, because I think these are both movies that people should give a chance to, and I want to explain.
I think people are underestimating the importance of Eternals.
I honestly think Eternals is going to be a bit of a sleeper, and I mean that in the best possible
Me
way.
too.
I
absolutely.
honestly, it's going to be introducing a group of characters that most people aren't really familiar with in the Marvel universe.
Let's look at the cast too, man. Like,
Yeah, it's got a good cast. It's got a very good cast.
if you get
And
Angelina Jolie into your movie, you know you got something there.
yeah, well, and she hasn't acted anything big in a while. I mean,
Yeah,
she did that small little independent film that was on HBO Max and just recently got released on home video
the
for
forest thing.
for those that wish me dead.
Yeah, that movie.
But
Yeah,
this
where
is
she's
her
in the
like
forest, right? Yeah, like forest fire movie.
um
Wasn't she like a?
she might have been. I can't
I
honestly
don't know.
recall, truth be told.
Yeah, I think that's what
But
it is.
honestly, Eternals is really interesting to me because I have been a long time fan of those characters and their quarter of the Marvel universe that they inhabit, and I'm gonna be interested to see how they change the dynamic of the MCU, because this is a very old group of characters that was created by Jack Kirby. This was a Jack Kirby brainchild. In a lot of the ways that the New Gods were a brainchild of Jack Kirby for DC, and this is really going to be stretching into both the cosmic element of the MCU, but it's going to be branching off into several other things within the MCU, and one of them, of course, is we've got X-Men on the horizon. Let's just put it this way: we've got mutants on the horizon, because when you're talking about the Eternals, you're also talking about the Celestials. And
Yeah,
this is something I said the other night, but for those of you that weren't there or haven't heard me say this, the Eternals are essentially proto mutants. They are like the first mutants, but they were genetically engineered. They were experimented on. They are essentially primitive humans that the Celestials took and experimented on and turned them into super beings, or turned them into, as I said, mutants. Because from the Eternals and from the Deviants came a offshoot of humanity known as Homo Superior, aka mutants. So
it's a beginning. It's
yeah,
that's the trend they're going. It's the beginning.
It's the beginning of a lot of different aspects of the MCU that we haven't gotten thus far. One is obviously expanding further into the cosmic element of the MCU. Another is expanding into the mutant dynamic in the MCU. So I'm like I said, I want to do as much as I can to support Eternals because I think it is going to be a very solid movie, and I think it's going to be a big building block for the MCU moving forward. And I want to kind of give people a short synopsis and give everyone an idea of why I feel the Eternals are so important as a group of characters going forward with the MCU. Just as much as Venom is an important character. Them introducing Venom just in his own solo franchise was a gutsy move. I'll be the first to admit it. I kind of slept on going to see Venom because I just was like, I'll catch it on home video, and now I'm finding it exceedingly hard to catch it on home video.
They've been wanting to do a Venom film for like ages. Like I remember, like Spider-Man 3, they wanted to do one afterwards. Then, like the Amazing Spider-Man was supposed to be the beginning of the Sony Spider-Man universe, and Venom was going to have his own solo film, not connected to Spider-Man.
They were supposed to have the symbiotes after that.
Now, because I don't know if you heard, like some people keep saying, "Oh, Venom's in the Amazing Spider-Man universe," when it really isn't.
No,
I think from Oscorp, from Laboratory, they were experimenting on something that was supposed to. That's what his dad. I think that's what his dad was involved with, right? Peter's dad was involved with Oscorp, and they were experimenting on something that may have resulted in Venom and Carnage, the symbiotes.
Did any of you play the Spider-Man 2018 video game?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a mission where you're playing as Mary Jane, and she is in the Osborn's penthouse, I think.
Yeah.
The secret lab.
The secret lab. Do y'all remember the vat?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think that was a symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost bet money that was a symbiote. So that I think that might have just been a really cool little Easter egg for people that are really super familiar with the Marvel universe, and in particular the Spider-Man universe in itself. So, I'll bring up Tyler's comment here. Tyler, don't think I was ignoring you. I was by no means. Cleese will be back in the universe, but his Carnage will be Venom's cousin, I'm guessing. Maybe Tyler, we'll have to wait and see on that. So, but honestly, we'll probably add this to our collection. Who knows? Maybe this will be my way. Maybe they'll do a combo pack and they'll do both Venom and Let There Be Carnage on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever, and just do it as a combo, and that way I can finally get a copy of Venom. Granted, I can go rent it off of Amazon or buy it off Amazon, but I want a physical copy too. I'm weird. So, well, anyways, guys, we've spent about an hour, give or take, on Let There Be Carnage. Quick question before we jump in: have both of you seen the last couple episodes of What If?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then why don't we jump into What If Ultron won and What If the Watcher broke his oath? So, guys, I've kind of been. I don't want to monopolize this conversation. What'd y'all think of the last two episodes of What If?
First of all, the universe has not been kind to Tony Stark. What If has not been kind to Tony Stark at all. Him and Hank Pym have gotten the worst deal in What If so far.
Yep. Go ahead, George.
Oh, you can go. You can go. Second of all,
I can't. I was just gonna say I agree with you. Tony has gotten a raw deal on what's happened to him in What If so far. So, go ahead, fellas, please.
The other thing I wanted to touch upon. So I really the concept of the one where Ultron won. For the most part, I enjoyed it. The only thing that I wasn't kind of crazy about is how easily Thanos was defeated by Ultron. It kind of felt like a bit rushed.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah, anticlimactic, but I really
You
enjoyed
just have to
like how
laser split them in half. That's it.
basically how, especially because I'll be honest, Age of Ultron is one of the more disappointing MCU movies for me personally. Like I like it, but it could have been a whole lot more. And just seeing what Ultron could have been,
Yeah.
just like really did him justice, in my opinion. And then the next episode where you basically have the Guardians of the Multiverse, like he put together a really unique, weird but fun team. And rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. You will be missed.
Yes. R.I.P.
But
Chadwick.
I think a lot of people have been kind of harsh on What If. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I think What If's not the best Marvel thing. And after the first two episodes, I was kind of concerned because they were just doing role reversals at the time. But like each episode since then, I think has done something unique with the
Yes.
MCU mythos. And I think while this hasn't been the best show, it's a lot better than I think people have given it credit for.
Yeah. Aaron, your thoughts?
Well, what if? To me, what if is something different, unique? Like, of course, it's different. Um, I did like the. I think the season finale was okay for what it was. Because we are getting a season two. I think the
Yeah.
Watcher, personally, I think the Watcher, I don't care, break. I know you're not allowed to interfere, but dumbass, the universes are in trouble, fucking interfere, man. Just break your oath. There's times you can break your oath, man. With something like, how many universes has Ultron destroyed in before you can recruit these people, recruit the Guardians of the Multiverse? Thousands and thousands? Then you recruit, all of a sudden you recruit them? Come on. That's like, that doesn't make sense, really. You have to wait that long? But like, it's um, I'm not a believer saying. I personally don't think the multiverse really. I know some people say it's going to be involved in MCU. I'm sorry, I don't think the what if it's going to involve being MCU.
I don't. I don't think What If is going to be directly connected to the MCU. It's adjacent to it, but it's not directly connected.
Yeah. It's adjacent to it, but it's based on MCU, but it's not going to be involved in the future of MCU. You know,
Right,
so they
exactly. Yeah.
they're not. I don't like some people like rumored like a month ago. Captain Carter is going to be in a Doctor Strange too. I doubt it.
Yeah, I seriously doubt that.
Like that. That's
There's going they've got enough going on as it is. They don't need a whole bunch of other stuff going on
yeah.
with No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness.
I gotta be honest. I think my favorite episode was Party Thor.
Honestly, after the first three episodes or the first couple episodes were kind of upbeat, and then the next couple were very downbeat, and then you had another one that was relatively upbeat, and then you had
Yeah.
another couple that were downbeat, and then of course you had Party Thor, and then you could essentially say that What If Ultron won and What If the Watcher broke his oath were just one longer episode essentially, because
Hmm.
they could quite literally be watched that way. I enjoyed the series. Um, I there were episodes I liked more than others, but I didn't dislike any of them. I didn't feel like I was wasting my time by watching them. They were
Hmm.
entertaining. They were engaging. I did enjoy the stories that they told. My only thing, and this is just a itty bitty little gripe, just a itty bitty one, and yes, it does go back to a stream I did just a week or so ago. I wish they could have got Brie Larson to be Captain Marvel,
Oh
or do the
yeah.
voice of Captain Marvel. Not
Yes.
just for the fact that she is Captain Marvel, but because it would have made a few people's heads explode.
Oh my goodness.
I would have. I would have.
Captain Carter
I.
did that already.
You know what? Do I really want to get more stuff out? I'll just tell you. I won't get them down off the shelf over here. I was able to get 3 Funkos from What If. I got Captain Carter. I got Sorcerer, Doctor Strange Supreme, and I got the Hydra Stomper.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I got all 3 of those. I got the Funkos of them. So, But in terms of the last two episodes, I really did enjoy them. I thought they were an interesting premise, an interesting take. You know, the concept of Ultron becoming a cosmic being so advanced that he could sense the presence of the Watcher, and the Watcher getting legitimately freaked out. I will
Yeah.
say it. I have liked Jeffrey Rush doing the voice work of the Watcher. And I've mentioned this before. When he was in, when he, I saw when I watched the first episode of a few weeks back, and I was like, I know that voice, I know that voice, I know that voice, and then to actually, I'll say this in if what if Ultron won, when him and Ultron are going head to head, and
Hmm.
Ultron says, "You don't have the will to stand up against me," and Watcher says, "You cannot calculate the strength of my will." I'm like, my
Yeah.
nipples just got hard. Like, that is such a good line. That is like such a badass line. You cannot calculate my will. I'll say this: that fight between those two, between Watcher and Ultron, was just badass as hell. And
They
every
go through
time that
different universes.
say that again, Aaron.
They go through like many different universes. Like,
Oh yeah, and when every time Ultron would punch him, they would transition to another universe.
yeah.
That was crazy, but the animation was so good. The transitions were so quick, but it worked. It worked. It worked. And just when you think Ultron's going to get a one up on the Watcher is able to pull things out and get away from it. He's like, and he goes to the pocket universe that Doctor Strange inhabits. And
Yeah.
I will say this: I love the fact that Cumberbatch that came back to do all the voice work for every episode of What If. And Watcher's like, "You really want me to say it?" And you hear Sorcerer Supreme say, "Yes, I want to hear you say it." I'm like, that's just cold, but that's just cool too. It is. That was cold as hell, but it was cool too.
You
And
think
then
the
of
Sorcerer
course,
Supreme saw the possible outcome because remember in not Endgame, Infinity War. Remember when Tony Stark asked Doctor Strange, what's the chances of making out of this? And he said like 1 in like 14 million. Do you think Sorcerer
mhm,
Supreme saw and then what if saw did the exact same thing? What the chances are with the Watcher?
maybe,
It's
maybe.
possible.
Well, you remember too when they go back to his pocket universe, and Strange is like, "You knew this was going to happen. You saw every eventuality. You
Yeah,
saw every possibility. You knew
and he did
what
nothing
could."
to the last minute.
He's like, "You knew it was going to happen," and Watcher was like, "Yeah, more or less."
That's why I say fuck the Watcher. He's the real villain here.
I
I
don't know if he's well. Look here. Here's the thing. He
know what he's
has
supposed to
prince.
do, but seriously.
Here's the thing. They almost have like the Marvel version of the Prime Directive from Star Trek to
Yeah.
not interfere. Because here's why: in the Watcher's past, the race, he's not just the only Watcher. There are
Yeah, that's true.
lots of Watchers around. They interfered in, I think, the events of something, and it caused something very bad to happen, and that's
Oh,
when
so if he interfered, he could have caused something worse.
exactly.
What's supposed to be
So
worse than how the universe is being destroyed by Ultron?
yeah, well now here's the interesting thing. Um, there was a 4-part miniseries in the X-Men comics just before the Age of Apocalypse miniseries started up back in the late '90s. It was called Legion's Quest, and it's like I think the second issue or third issue because it was a 4-parter. where Lilandra of the Empress of the Shi'ar Empire shows up, and she's like, "You all need to be warned." And staying behind her is an entire group of Watchers. And when Watchers are willing to interfere and give knowledge of what is going to happen in advance, you know crap is about to hit the fan. So, I the great thing about What If is they can tell just about any story that they want going forward. Now, I didn't mind them necessarily doing some alternate takes on some of the other Marvel films that they have come out within the first 3 phases. I was cool with that. It's a nice way to enter into this whole concept of What If. But I'm hoping going forward that they will take a lot. I'm hoping they will take a lot of risks, they will take some more risks with this particular series. The other thing I will say, specifically to the episode "What If the Watcher Broke His Oath," I did enjoy the interactions between the different characters, particularly between Black Widow and Captain Carter. And those two, they're both the Black Widow from Carter's universe and the one from the universe where Ultron won. The way those two interacted, I thought was really, really neat. I also liked Boy Thor, or Party Thor as he's called.
Thor, yeah.
Party Thor. He's like, "Is this beer? Can it be refilled?" And Strange was like, "Yes, it can be refilled." He's like, "Another." I did, and I also have to admit, I knew Killmonger was going to stab them all in the back, but I knew also deep down that he felt like he was trying to do the right thing. And I also knew that Armin Zola was going to stab them in the back as well. I was just like, I knew something. Yeah. I knew those two were going to be a monkey in the wrench.
The Watcher knew too. That's why they had them both. That's why he had Killmonger involved with the team, and he knew that Zola had to be involved also, like from Black Widow, right? Because they knew those two were going to betray each other, and when they were battling out each other for the Infinity Stones, that's when they could get the Infinity Stones. When they're battling out for the Infinity Stones, because they were trying to pull the Infinity Stones towards them. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and the other. Okay, I will. The other cool thing is, this episode really showed off Doctor Strange's power, or this version, the Sorcerer Supreme. I mean, like the Dark Sorcerer Supreme, and when he just cuts loose with all the creatures that are dwelling within inside him, and you see all those tentacles come pouring out of him, entangling Ultron when he's huge, and you see the dragon's heads breathing fire coming out of Strange. I'm sorry, that was some really good animation. It was smooth, it was clean, it was crisp. I really enjoyed it. I mean,
I love the zombies.
Oh yeah, and then oh man, when
what came with the zombies, right?
Yeah, Strange was the one that opened the portal to the zombie universe. Yeah. I think it was, or maybe it was the Watcher. I can't remember which.
It was Strange.
And was it Strange? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had the ability to do that now.
Yeah.
I have to admit, they're like, "That's it? You just got to dump zombies on him?" And he's like, "That's not it." And then you see zombie Scarlet Witch.
Oh my goodness.
And okay, I'm going to say this. I never thought I would say this, but zombie Scarlet Witch looks bad freaking ass.
Yeah.
Yo, it's a cool design. Like, it's definitely a cool design.
Well, I don't know if you all know this or not, but they're actually doing a series of Marvel Legends figures for the What If series, and one of the figures is zombie Captain America.
Yo, yeah, I saw that.
Did you?
The zombie Scarlet Witch even looked more pissed off at Ultron than the Scarlet Witch in the movie.
Yeah, but except Except in this case, zombie Scarlet Witch, when she realizes her power is doing absolutely nothing to Ultron, she's like,
Yeah.
huh? And then he just goes blip, and she goes poof.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will
It was just
admit
a
I did.
distraction, really.
Yeah, essentially that's what they were trying to do. It was all a distraction to try and
Yeah.
get the stones away from Ultron, and
Yeah.
it was that whole battle there on the ruined Earth that Ultron was in control of, and they're trying to get they're trying to get the Mind Stone back so they can destroy it. It's like that scene from the beginning of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom where they're trying to get when he's trying to get the diamond away from Lao She and his goons, and it just keeps getting knocked around the dance floor. That's what reminded me of them trying to get the Infinity Stone back so that they could keep it away from Ultron.
Yeah.
So but guys, any thoughts on those two episodes?
Yeah, I really like the team that they put together. I wish, like, because like it seemed like they're getting characters from all episodes. I wish they had Spider-Man with the Doctor Strange cape like on the team as well. I think that would have been a neat addition. But other than that, I really like the team they put together. And they
Oh yeah.
also hinted with Gamora because they said they do have that episode with Gamora and Tony Stark. I think that's the one they said that's going to be one where Tony Stark goes on Sakaar like after the events of Avengers. I think that's going to be a season 2 episode. So they already hinted at one episode that's going to come out in season 2. So
Probably.
they're keeping the intrigue open as well. And I do want to say this about season 2. I would be so disappointed if they never do a what if episode where the other half of the universe survived and the half that originally survived gets snapped away. I want to see an episode where they kind of switch what
Oh,
members like survived and who didn't to see how that team would have figured out bringing everyone back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
reversal.
I won't lie, that would be interesting. And
Yeah.
the other thing I have to admit is I thought I thought the fight itself was absolutely positively epic. I mean that totally. I mean the fight between the Watcher and Ultron was awesome, but the fight between Ultron and the Guardians of the Multiverse was equally awesome. I mean, you want to talk about a knockdown drag out where they're literally holding on by the skin of their teeth, and it takes Captain Carter and alternate universe Black Widow to save everybody's asses. But it made
Hmm.
perfect sense because Strange was trying to keep the protection spell around all of them, and like I said, that version of Doctor Strange, he is a badass. I mean, I
This
cannot wait to
Ultron
see.
was OP. This
Oh, yeah,
Ultron made Thanos and MCU look like a whip.
yeah. Well,
Literally.
yeah. He just sliced him in half.
Yeah. So he just comes out of the portal and all of a sudden gets sliced in half. It's like, nope.
Well, I've heard some people give critique, and you know what? They are right to. They are entitled to critique. Someone had made a comment, or several people have made comments that they broke the mechanics of the Infinity Stones in the second to last episode, in episode 8, because Ultron can use the Infinity Stones outside of that particular universe.
Oh,
Here's the thing you have to remember. The show's called What If.
yeah.
That is quite literally the premise of the show. What if Ultron did win and the rules that pertained to the Infinity Stones did not apply?
You know what? You know what's weird? You say that, but I remember like Gamora, was it King Gamora, Queen
Gamora.
Gamora, whatever. She was the role what Thanos was in that episode, right? She took over the what Thanos was in her universe, right? Oh wait, the thing the thing that they used to destroy the Infinity Stones in her universe, they didn't work on the one on the Infinity Stones that Ultron had. And I'm listening to you like this. I'm like this. Yeah, they don't apply. They don't apply. Right? Is what if? But I'm like, then I see that. I'm like, so they can't have it both ways, you know?
Yeah, and I do understand that. If they're going to bend the rules, make sure at least it's consistent. But you know what?
Yeah,
I can forgive one small error in writing in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't
yeah,
ruin my enjoyment of what the episode is and what the episode does. For me, like I said, I've enjoyed every episode, some to more degrees than others. I liked the more upbeat episodes, but I also liked the darker episodes, in particular with What If Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his
Oh, that
hands.
was so dark.
That was
Yeah.
a very gut wrenching and very tragic story. Like I mentioned, it was
Depressing
almost like,
episode.
hmm,
That was a depressing episode. He felt for the guy, but he's going deep into madness, like for the love. You remember that movie with Guy Pearce? Remember he played Killian in Iron Man? He had a movie where his loved one kept dying over and over, and he tried to recreate, go
yeah,
back in time to save her.
yeah,
And he went back
the
to the
time machine.
prehistoric, yeah, time machine, and that's what it was like. And he at the
Yeah,
end he accepted. He accepted he can't do it. He didn't go. He didn't go to this. He didn't go to the madness. He didn't go to the level where Doctor Strange is, where he got completely like obsessed and like. But that was a great movie though, the Time Machine.
oh yeah.
Like
Well,
if it's
not to
meant to
mention
happen, it's meant to happen, right? If you can't,
it's a fixed point in time; it cannot be undone. That's the
yeah,
whole point. But that's a different premise entirely because that's an H.G. Wells story, and this is they're taking a little bit of H.G. Wells and interjecting it into Marvel, but it works. It
yeah, she's gonna
doesn't.
die either way. You could save her from how the crash, but something else would have killed her. She is meant to die.
So, but the really cool thing about these two both the Venom 2 or Venom Let There Be Carnage and also the What If series, the really cool thing that they have done with these two installments in the MCU and the Sonyverse, they've really built upon the concept of how the multiverse functions. Because not only can there be alternate dimensions where alternate versions of different characters exist, but you can also have uh, universes intersect with one another in different ways that you wouldn't be accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing: we've got a Venom that doesn't have a direct link, but does have a link to Spider-Man. That in
Yeah.
itself makes the Venom movies an alternate universe story. With What If, we get the idea of what happens if one choice or one event is changed and how much of a ripple effect that can have upon um, an entire universe in and of itself. I mean, think about it. Watcher realizes that Black Widow's world is dead. So what he does is he takes her to a alternate universe, or actually he takes her to the universe where, if y'all remember the episode where What If the Avengers never were a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and um, because if you remember in that particular story, Black Widow dies,
Yeah.
and what the Watcher says to Black Widow in this
That's the
universe.
one with Hank Pym, right? Was the villain.
Yeah, that's the one with Hank Pym where he goes insane with grief because Hope was
Yeah.
killed. on a mission for Shield.
Mhm.
So he decides to kill off
The
the
Avengers.
Avengers. Yeah. So, and of course, that's also the episode where Loki's like, I think we're going to extend our stay for a while. And they were like, well, for how long? And he's like, well, for as long as I play will want to. And that's when they go up. They you see in that particular episode, you see Captain America or a different Captain America. You see a different Iron Man, and you see Captain Marvel, all fighting all of these Asgardian soldiers, and of
Yeah,
course,
Loki is the king.
yeah, essentially. So, but
It's like I like Big Dick Fruit. I don't know what universe it's from, but I like you already or something like that. Because Dick Fruit, remember that? Because he
Yeah,
knew
I
that
do.
wasn't her. Because Black Widow was dead, right? In his that universe, and he's like, "You're not our Black Widow, but I like you already." He's like, "I'm right away." Like, and if this was an MCU movie, Nick Fury would never say that. But in What If, it
Yeah,
works.
but well, also, what think about it this way: Nick Fury might just be desperate enough to accept her because they don't really have that many heroes in that universe. So it's like, hey, we'll just take you in because we need all the help we can get.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
And
and one other thing with Tony Stark, like when they're recruiting Gamora, people are making jokes saying the Watcher's done seeing Tony Stark die. That's why he doesn't recruit Tony Stark.
Yes,
maybe,
yeah, Tony Stark doesn't get recruited. That's true.
yeah, maybe. So,
I mean, Tony Stark does get shafted in this series. In this series, he does die a lot, or he gets ignored.
I do have one more. Well, I have three more, but means we're talking about Iron Man. Here's another one that I picked up recently.
Oh, nice.
Tony Stark
nice.
AI. Yeah. There's the artwork on the back. So I've got lots and lots of Iron Men, and I've got an Iron Heart, and I've got Doctor. Well, I've got not just one Doctor Doom. Come here. I have two.
We need Doom in the MCU. Put in Doom. What are you waiting for, Kevin Feige? Put in Doom.
So I still haven't taken this out of the box. I need to take this out of the box to check him out.
I think I think Doom was the number one villain everybody wants in the MCU.
Doom, and well, we've gotten him sort of, but this guy too.
Oh yeah,
Kang. What was in that suit? Dang, that's.
let's do Doom right. That's all I ask.
Yes, please give us.
I'll be honest. Doom in the first Fantastic Four movie, I don't think was bad. I think the actor played it. I think that was not a bad Victor Von
Julian
Doom.
McMahon. Yeah, he did a good job.
In the second movie, that was a different story. That's just a bad movie raw. And if it's 2015 Doctor Doom, that was a complete joke.
Don't even get me started on that Doctor Doom. I've heard so much crap about that, and I'm just like, you had one job and you failed.
I think the 2005 film had a good cast. They just didn't have a good story.
Yeah,
I have to agree with that. Yeah, I do. I mean,
and the guy that plays the Thing looks like my Uncle Larry. I swear.
Oh, Michael Chiklis?
Oh, Michael Chiklis?
Yeah.
He looks like my Uncle Larry.
Hi, my name is Larry. This is my brother Daryl, and this is my other brother Daryl.
No,
if you get that reference, you get a gold. If you get that reference, you get a gold star and a cookie.
I do think the actor who played Reed Richards didn't play a bad Reed Richards.
Yeah, I can't even remember the name of the actor per se. But
Me too.
He wasn't bad.
Chris Evans played a fine James. No, I'll just say this.
Evans. I think Chris Evans, honestly, is Johnny Storm. He was like one of the highlights of those books.
I think 2005 Fantastic Four is not a bad movie.
Well, like I said, when I do my Marvel before the MCU stream and everything, we'll discuss all this. I mean, we can talk about it for a little bit because I'm probably gonna wrap up here because we've pretty much covered both topics for the night. But I don't mind hanging around with you guys for a little bit longer or anything. I don't have anything else going on tonight, so unless Max decides to go live.
Yeah,
I felt kind of bad. I was catching the replay of Max's stream from last night, and he's like,
I wasn't on it. I wasn't on it.
Yeah,
busy.
you know,
I listened to
I
some of it.
yeah, I listened to a little bit of it too. He's like, "I'll even take an ambassadorial roast." And I'm like, I was like, I was like, maybe I need to ease off on Max just a little bit
Yeah,
because
you do like it. You do
I
like a little sub.
I'll start roasting other people instead. I will. I'll pick on RJ and Saggy for a while. And you know, I'm just gonna say this. I was listening to Saggy's stream from when she from the well, I think it was quite literally from yesterday when she was talking about how she finally watched WandaVision and What If. And she
Yeah.
was starting to go on this rant about how Marvel doesn't own the Fantastic Four or the X-Men, and I, not only myself but someone else in the chat
She said that?
yes, clearly she.
Ian Garfield, that's the actor. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thank you, Ferris. Yeah, I'll pop it up here. He was in Titanic. Yeah, I think he was one of the ship's officers. Yeah,
Oh,
thank you,
really?
Ferris.
He wasn't
Yeah,
a
I think
bad Reed Richards.
he wasn't. But to kind, yeah, she quite and no, it was Bigford Entertainment. It was Enzo and
Yeah,
myself
I
who
know him. He's,
said, "Yeah, Enzo's good people."
yeah.
I've watched his What If roundtables. Good conversation. Everything he
Yeah.
does a lot. He talk. He
I
does.
knew him
He
from this.
does.
I knew him from Robert Storm says from stuff because he was on
Okay.
Robert Storms a lot, before.
Hmm.
Yeah. So go on.
Well, both me and Bigford, well, Enzo said, Saggy, Disney owns Fox, ergo they own the rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four. And she's like, well, I just feel sheepish. So the next time I'm on a stream, I'm going to look at Saggy and say, Saggy, how about instead of lusting over the pool boy and Captain Spaghetti Arms, aka Jeremy Griggs and Ryan Kindle, how about
Oh
you
Yeah.
my
do some
goodness.
how about you do some research on
But she's been on her. She's been on streams talking with people. She's been on streams with people we know talking about like the Fantastic Four and X-Men involving the MCU. Wouldn't that give her clues that they're owned by Marvel now, like by Disney?
I don't know. I'm not going to turn this into a Saggy bashing stream because I like Saggy, but she needs to do
There's
research. She
Alba
needs to
was the
do
one.
research.
Alba was the one cast member that in that movies that I agree with that did not fit Sue Storm.
Yeah, because Sue Storm wasn't. I want to say this politely. She wasn't a sex pot.
No,
She wasn't. She wasn't a pinup girl. She was.
no.
She was a scientist. She was.
There was literally a scene where she turned invisible and she was like naked and you could see like the bra and stuff. Like seriously.
Yeah.
Yo, they turned
Yeah.
that into like a comedic scene, and it was so cringy.
Yeah.
I have to agree, but I think next time I'm on one of Max's streams, I'm gonna pick on Saggy and RJ instead. I'm gonna leave Max alone for a little while because I sent him a
RJ
message.
the Marvel show.
Well, I can't necessarily say that because I love Marvel too, so you can almost categorize
So do
me as a
I.
Marvel shill. You can categorize me as a Marvel shill, even though I get nothing out of me liking Marvel. So I'm not necessarily a Marvel shill. I'm just a Marvel fanboy. Now, if they do something bad, I'm going to say so, and if I have a
me
critique,
too.
I'm going to give it. So it's not going to me just be
That's what Shill does.
swooning.
The Shill will show for anything, even if it's bad. You're not like that,
Well, then there are a lot
right?
of
That's
people.
what Shill is. The show basically is they think everything is good, no matter how bad something really is.
You mean how Brian thinks that the sequel trilogy is actually good?
Oh my goodness.
I love Brian. I regard Brian as a friend, even though we'll probably never meet meet face to face. Let's say it that way. And I like Brian. I respect him a great deal, but he's never going to convince me that anything that they do with all the books and all the backfilling that they do, it's not going to make the sequels any better.
No, I mean,
Just saying.
I think Force Awakens was on the right track, and then like the Last
And
Jedi.
then it went off a freaking cliff.
Yeah, and J.J. Abrams tried to fix it with Rise of
The Rise of
Skywalker.
Skywalker. Yeah, it's
But
a
how about taking shots at Connery's Bond? Like I was like very shocked when Brian like said like that was his
well,
least favorite.
well, hey, and that's a personal take, and that's fine.
Yeah, it's a personal
I'm
take.
not.
That's fine. I'm just like that was just a surprise on my part.
Yeah, and I get that. I'm eventually going to go see No Time to Die. It wasn't like Venom. I'm not saying I'm going to go ever watch. I'm only going to just see Marvel films in the theaters. I'll watch just about anything, but I'm going to wait till maybe next weekend or something. And I might go see it then.
Yeah, because the week after is Dune.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on Dune. Not that that's a bad thing. Not that that's
I
a
know.
bad thing.
I know, Ambassador. You've been hyping it up. I know you're.
I am so. You guys, you don't. Okay. For me, Dune is like Lord of the Rings
First, Kerry
science.
Russell. Kerry Russell. There, that's my answer. First.
I have no idea what that means, but that's okay.
No, Ferris is
Oh,
question.
Ferris.
Oh. Let's see. Oh, Ferris. Sorry, Ferris. Before Jessica Alba, the actresses were considered for the part where Elliot Larder, Kerry Russell, and Charlie Theron. Who do you think you guys think is the better choice? I would say Elliot Larder maybe. More so than Kerry Russell.
I mean, she was up and coming. Kerry Russell, I think would be perfect. To me, Charles Theron, all her super movie her roles where she's like a superhero. Besides, I think Hancock, where she was really good at. She doesn't do well. Those are her worst movies.
I actually liked her in Hancock.
I did too. I like her in Hancock, but I'm saying like Aeon Flux and other stuff that she was a superhero or something, right? Where she's a hero or she doesn't do well. She doesn't do well. Like
What
they
do you
don't do
guys-
well.
What did you think of her as Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road? If you
Okay,
saw it,
Please don't hate me, but I still haven't seen Fury Road.
that's all good. But I love Fury Road. But like Aaron,
I've
if
heard
you
it's
saw it-
really good. It's not that I have a dislike for it.
I just think
like.
I just think she shouldn't play superheroes.
Okay.
And that's fair.
I mean,
Honestly,
except for Hancock, she was good. I like Hancock. She was good in Hancock. Like I like that movie too.
It's been ages since I saw Hancock. I gotta rewatch that one.
Jason Bateman and Will Smith.
Again, I say
Hancock is basically the press not giving a shit Superman.
Sure.
I'm sorry to hate to break your news, break your heart, Marcus. Emily Blunt's not gonna be in it.
She has no interest.
Yeah, she has nothing against it. She's not trashy or anything. She just has no interest in it.
Well,
but you know what? That could change.
It's not so much that she has no interest. She said that they haven't offered her the role.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of people, a lot of fans have been fan casting those two as Reed Richards and Sue Storm. If they do it, okay, great. If they don't do it, I'm sure they'll come up with a couple of actors that would be just as good. And
I bet they have people ready, and they're just waiting.
They very well may have. They very well may have. I will say this, and yes, this may be a bit of a hot take, but it's my take, and it's my channel. I am looking forward to D+ Day a lot more than I am DC fandom.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
The only thing I'm looking for DC fandom is Black Adam and the Batman. And maybe the video games. That's it.
Yeah, I'm not even going to watch it. Well, I can't remember what day it is. Anyway,
next Saturday, next week. Next Saturday.
Oh, it's next Saturday. I'll be at work.
Yeah, it's at 10. It's at 10 a.m.
Runs from
it's
10
at 1
to 2,
p.m.
I think it
Eastern
is.
time, 10 a.m. Pacific. So your time, you're an hour behind me. So it'll be like 12, I guess 12 your time, right?
Yeah, I'll still be at work. So,
Yeah.
honestly, but even if I wasn't at work, am I really going to make the time to cover it? No.
No, because probably like the Black Adam and Batman trailers are probably gonna be like near the last or something. I don't know. They're gonna probably like save that for the best for last.
Yeah, essentially.
I'm
I'm
only
just
because for my friend site, the Movie Nerds, I will be covering like some of it, but really any trailers or special announcements, like if they're gonna announce like any casting choices, like I'm doing 2 articles on it. The first one is predicting what could be announced. Like, are they gonna announce any castings for Batgirl, or like are they gonna announce who's gonna play Static Shock, or like are they gonna show us any behind the scenes for the Flash, and could they possibly announce air cut or give hints about it? And then I'll do an article saying what was announced, like maybe talk about like the trailers for the Batman, Black Adam, if there's a trailer for Flash, any special castings.
Did they have the Flash? But I'll just say this. I'll say this about DC fandom. There's a lot of people who really love Zack Snyder, and we're friends with them. I think it's going to break their heart.
And very well
because they're not going
might.
to get what they want. They're not going to get what they want.
Yeah,
I'm not even mentioning Zack Snyder in my prediction article because I'm
I
not.
think that's smart.
Like I'll talk about the air cut because that looks like it could likely be announced.
I don't think air cuts could be announced either.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if they're gonna make any surprise announcement, that's gonna probably be the only thing Snyder verse related that could be announced.
Yeah.
Like, if they're gonna make a surprise announcement, but other than that, I'm not talking about like Justice League 2 getting possibly greenlit or maybe Man of Steel 2. It's like I'm looking at what's realistic, and air cut looks realistic, even though it's.
And I'm inclined to agree with that, but it's just again, it comes for me. It comes back to the fact I grew up reading Marvel comics. I grew up being more interested in the Marvel universe of superheroes and everything. I don't have a distaste or a dislike for the DC universe. There's actually stuff in the DC universe I am interested in.
I like DC actually more than Marvel because I like Batman's like my favorite character. I do,
yeah.
But I'll just say,
go ahead.
And I do like Marvel too. Like I like both. Like you.
Yeah. And I'll bring up Tyler's comment here. The Flash will have a trailer because they hinted it. Yeah, Tyler,
Batman announced theirs. Batman announced they're gonna have their second trailer.
Yeah,
and I'm very interested to see what the Batman is like because it's based on like him chasing after a serial killer, like a detective, because in the movies, in the interpretations of Batman, especially on the big screen, we haven't really seen Batman use his detective skills that much. Right?
We did in the Dark Knight trilogy. We did see
Dark Knight to an extent, yeah. But we haven't seen it much. I think they're focusing on that, right? With the darker, I think
probably.
I think this is gonna be a darker. I think this Batman is gonna be a darker tone, much darker tone than the Nolan trilogy.
Yes,
that's entirely possible too. So,
because we're chasing Riddler, man. The Riddler looks like a Zodiac killer.
I agree with Marcus right here. I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed that it's not John and Emily, but honestly, I can see John as Mr. Fantastic. I can't, as much as I like Emily Blunt, I can't see her as Sue Storm.
Yeah, honestly, Marcus is a hardcore Marvel fan just like me, and I respect.
Who the heck started this rumor? John Krasinski and Emily Blunt were going to be.
Honestly,
I think it was WeGotThisCovered.com. I think must have done this.
It might.
Then he knows it's fake.
Here's the thing. It's been a fan casting for a very long time. So, the reason they were the reason Fantastic Four were hyped in the first place. Not casting them is taking away the hype. Marcus, I respect you as a fellow Marvel fan, but here's the thing. People are going to be hyped for the Fantastic Four just on the name alone. It doesn't really matter who they cast. fans and the general public are going to be interested to see the Fantastic Four on the big screen and see a faithful adaptation, but a better adaptation than what we've gotten previously. So honestly,
Yeah.
you're entitled to your opinion, Marcus.
Because
You're more than you can have it. I'm not going to take it away from
Marcus,
you. But
here's the thing you're
personally,
forgetting.
I don't. If it's not a deal breaker for me if Straczynski and Blunt are not cast as
Here's the thing
John
you're
and
forgetting,
Sue.
Marcus. This now the Fantastic Four is in the hands of Disney and MCU. Now they have control over it. Where those other studios had control over it and they botched it. Despite me liking the first one in 2004, 2005, but the other two after that, the one with Rise of Silver Surfer, that was bad. 2015 was bad. But now with MCU and Disney having control over it, I'm more confident.
They can. Yes, I agree with Aaron on this. I do want to address Ferris's comment, and then we are probably going to start wrapping up. Ambassador, do you think Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock fits with Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker or Tom Holland's Peter Parker?
Andrew.
The
tone's for Andrew.
I think honestly he could fit with either one. To be honest with you, I guess you could say he might fit better with Andrew, but I think he could go into either universe just fine.
He can actually fit. He can actually fit with Toby's too, man.
Yeah, potentially.
He would be a better fit than Topher Grace. Now I like Topher Grace. I grew up on that 70s show. I love that show.
Hey, we're getting a 90s show.
But Topher
I heard
Grace
about that.
But let me tell you something about Topher Grace. As much as I like him, he's the guy you get to replace Tobey Maguire if Tobey Maguire doesn't return. Not to play Eddie Brock or Venom. So, and Tom Hardy's actually is a couple years younger than Toby, so he could have been a good fit for the Raimi verse. He could be a good fit for the Amazing Spider-Man verse because the tone feels similar. He can also, and I think he's going to be a good fit with Tom Holland's because Venom has humor in it, the film. So he really can fit in any Spider-Verse, in my opinion.
I agree. And hey, Marcus, I'm just going to say this, and I'm not trying to be antagonistic towards you, bud. You don't have to have a married couple play Reed Richards and Sue Storm Richards. It's not a requirement. I know that they are a good couple. They act together very well. I'm actually going to be doing reviews. I think it's in a week or so for my Thriller Thursday series for Halloween. I'm actually be doing a review stream for A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. I know that they were great in that. Everything from what I hear, and I will give my own take on that and everything when the time comes. Aaron, that's fine. But you don't have to have Ambassador explain all the fan art and videos about them. Marcus, people can make all the fan art and all the videos about them that they want, but it doesn't substantiate what the studio is going to ultimately do.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be a jerk here, Marcus, but people do fan art and fan fictions about all sorts of different things. It doesn't make a theory true. And quite frankly, all this is a theory.
Yeah, remember how early in the stream I was talking about all the fake Spider-Man 4 trailers from 2008, 2009? Yeah. A lot of them had Jim Carrey playing Carnage, and first of all, even if Spider-Man 4 did happen, Carnage was not even going to be in the film. So the fact is that I think a lot of people were going to be disappointed because they had their hopes of not just Carnage in that film, but Jim Carrey playing Carnage in a Raimi film. So
I'm just going to say this. I thought not to
fan art.
George, please.
Fan art and videos mean nothing. If people make on YouTube, that means nothing.
Marcus, with all due respect, bud, fan art and videos doesn't mean jack diddly.
Yeah.
People can go on, can do whatever they want artistically, and create these fan arts of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt as
I remember
the Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman.
I remember years before Brie Larson was cast. I remember years before Brie Larson was cast as Captain Marvel. Everybody they wanted Wanda Rousey as Captain Marvel. I'm sorry. If you had Wanda Rousey as Captain Marvel, you would have got a much worse movie.
I can't say
Yeah.
I can't say I disagree with that. I think I did my Brie Larson appreciation stream I think it was actually last week, which funny enough was on the eve of her birthday. I liked her in Captain Marvel. I liked her in Endgame. Was Captain Marvel the greatest greatest comic book movie of all time? No. I would say it falls kind of in line with Venom, Let There Be Carnage, or even the first Venom. It's not the greatest thing ever, but it was entertaining.
I heard
Go ahead.
Okay, that's debatable with the X-Men franchise, so depends.
Let's see. How can Fox handle the X-Men franchise decent, but they can't match Fantastic Four franchise, even though it has producers like Avi Arad and Ralph Winters, who was involved in the X-Men movies. Fair.
I mean, the X-Men franchise started off great. It started off great with the first two movies, and we got X3. It was with X-Men United. Yeah, with Jane Grey and that terrible movie.
And also, here's the thing: even though people don't like Bryan Singer anymore, he was still a competent director. Yeah, like he made solid X-Men movies.
This is where the old adage comes in: separate the art from the artist. Bryan Singer is a director.
Oh yeah, because he's kind of been canceled. Yeah.
And I think maybe in this case, the cancellation was justified.
Yeah.
And I will say this: this may be a very hot take. Y'all may not like me for this, but I liked X-Men Apocalypse.
I'm not gonna. I didn't like it, but I'm not gonna.
It was all right. It wasn't a bad movie, though. I don't think it was a bad movie. It was all right, though.
Yeah,
I just say they could have done a lot more with Apocalypse.
I would agree with that. Yes, Ambassador. What if they cast people of color in Fantastic Four? I don't care.
Oh man,
I don't care. Cast who you want. Just
they
make sure they can act.
They already did that. Yeah, 2015.
Make sure they can bloody act. That's my
Michael B. Jordan did. Remember?
Yeah, a lot of people said he was like the one highlight of Fan 4 Stick.
Yeah.
Marcus, to me, the ethnicity of an actor or actress doesn't mean jack in terms of their ability to act. If they cast a black person and a Hispanic person as Reed Richards and Sue Storm, and cast also a Hispanic actor as Johnny Storm, as long as they can act, I don't care. Just give me the Fantastic Four. I am not the intellectual dead end that is known as the fandom nuisance.
They hired an Australian actor as Thor.
I am open to the idea of them casting different people, different ethnicities in these roles. It's not a deal breaker for me. I am fine with this. I'm okay if they want to organically have representation in these films. It's not a deal breaker for me. It just isn't. I'm not going to get bent out of shape. I'm not going to go on a 10 or 15 minute rant about how modern media is being ruined and how we have to do this and that and the other. That's not my goal. I'm here to have
Fury, man. Nick Fury was white.
Yeah, they completely changed the race and they changed the ethnicity of. Well, but now here's the one thing. They had actually changed the ethnicity of Nick Fury in the Avengers Ultimate Comics. Yeah, and they did design him to look like Samuel L. Jackson because they like Samuel L. Jackson, and there was such a positive response to that change that when they were going to start doing the live action films, guess what? They got Samuel L. Jackson, and he kicks ass as Nick Fury. Him in a black turtleneck and a black leather coat with that eye patch, he looks like a straight up badass. I mean, hell's bells. He looks like freaking Shaft, but with an eye patch as Nick Fury. If you've ever seen the I can't remember exactly. I think it was like the early 2000s. I think it was John Singleton's Shaft film with Samuel L. Jackson and Jeffrey Wright and
I
Christian
mean,
Bale.
if you,
That movie was badass as hell.
I mean, look at Oscar Isaacs. Yes, he doesn't have like a Spanish name, but he's actually Spanish, and he's playing Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And he was playing
Yeah. Who cares?
who's actually Jewish. And
Yeah.
and the Thing is actually Jewish too. Magneto's Jewish. Ian McKellen is not Jewish at all, but he played a great Magneto. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Was Fassbender Jewish as well?
Fassbender.
I don't believe
To
so.
me, I'm a Jewish person. To me, you don't need to be Jewish to play a Jew. Okay, I won't be offended if you're not Jewish playing a Jew. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just asking because Fassbender was also a great Magneto as well.
They're both great.
He was excellent.
So I'm not offended. I won't be offended if a non-Jew is playing a Jew. I'm not offended of that at all. The thing what gets me, like mafia films, like mobster films, they always get the Italian actors to play those roles.
Mhm.
That's kind of like, to me, if you're acting, you should be able to play a lot of multi roles, not a different ethnicity. Like if you're playing if you're a mobster role and you're not Italian, you should be able to play that role. Learn the accent, this stuff. It's acting.
And
But,
and like I said, guys, we're gonna probably wrap up here in a minute or two, but I do want to address these last two comments and everything. Marcus, if them casting a couple actors is a deal breaker for you, hey, that's your prerogative. Myself, it's not a deal breaker.
It's not a deal breaker for anybody.
It just
Marcus might be.
I want to see a good adaptation of the Fantastic Four on the big screen. I want to see them integrated into the MCU.
Ambassador, look. Ambassador. You know when we got Kang reveal, right? Jonathan Majors, a black actor, right? So everybody's like, so is Reed Richards could be black now? I'm like, guys,
well,
this is years into the future. It could change. Generations in the future could change. It happens all the time. It's happening now in the real world.
Well, not to mention. Well, and not to mention.
What?
The interesting thing with the whole thing with dang it, what's my train of thought? The whole issue with them having a black actor playing Kang the Conqueror, aka Nathaniel Richards, it works and everything because, as you said, he is obviously a distant relation. So somewhere down the road, Richards married a black person, and they had kids, and that kid had kids, and that kid had kids, and that kid had kids, and eventually we got the Franklin Richards that we meet at the end of Loki.
Yeah,
and it was perfectly fine. Nobody even batted an eyelash. No one even cared.
That's why it's such a stupid question. Oh, so they're gonna make Reed Richards black now because of Kang. I'm like, come on. Didn't you watch Loki?
Yeah.
British actor, but Michael Fassbender is British.
Yeah. But he did. You know what? He did a great job as Magneto.
Both him and Ian McKellen.
Yeah, him and McKellen both. Yeah, I'll absolutely agree with that. So, anyways. Well, guys, I think we're going to go and wrap up here for tonight. But George and Aaron, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it as always. And I want to thank everybody who popped into the chat this evening. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Hope you all enjoyed the discussion. As always, make sure you leave your thoughts down below about anything that me and the fellows discussed. And do want to let you know I will be back tomorrow afternoon with an installment of Afternoons with the Ambassador. And going to be discussing a topic related to this time of year, and that is, of course, the characters of the monsters of Universal, and asking the question: are they still relevant? Are they still scary? And that'll be at 1:30.
After what happened to the Mummy?
And that will be at 1:30 Central Time. And then, of course, I will be back this coming Thursday with my first installment of Ambassadors Thriller Thursdays. And if memory serves, that will be my review. Hold on one second. Let me double check.
I gave the cat trees already.
Okay, that's just George. Hang
Yeah.
on. Let's see. October 28th, October 14th, October 10th. Where is it? Yeah, October 14th. Yeah. It will be my review of A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. So be sure to tune in for that. And of course, I will be back next Friday with the Council of Ones as we continue our review of Babylon 5 Season 4. So, fellas, anything that you want to plug for your channels before we wrap up for the night?
Oh yes. So I have a new channel. It's called AW Gaming Channel. It's a channel where I'm gonna put my video game stuff on, like clips. I have clips from video games from PlayStation, Xbox, etc. Just basically video games. Yeah. AWO Gaming. The AWO Gaming. That's what it's called.
Awesome, dude. Truly. George, what about you? You got anything you got coming up? You want to wait a minute. What the hell did I do? There we go. Sorry about that. Go ahead, George.
So I am planning on doing a review for No Time to Die. I did see that today, and I will say this: I highly recommend it. It was fantastic theater experience for me, probably my best of the post-pandemic. And I am going to do my own separate video on theories about that mid-credit scene and what it can mean for Venom and Spider-Man, what possibilities they're going to do. And I know I keep saying it, but I'm going to get to it like hopefully this week because I want to continue my Spider-Man review series. I want to review Spider-Man 2 this week at least. So
good.
I do have a few things coming up that I want to get done. And yeah, my channel's just George. I'll put it in the chat real quick. And yeah, those are my planned videos I have coming up and maybe some Halloween stuff.
That's awesome. So,
Awesome.
well, folks, again, thank you all for tuning in this evening. I really, as always, really appreciate it. And I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. That is, of course, the most important thing. You come to the Ambassadorial Wing, you come to have yourself a good time, you come to hear a good conversation, you come to just celebrate this thing we call pop culture. Do want to let you all know I am 2 subs away from 450. Once we hit 450, I will be doing that Highlander watch party over on Twitch, provided my Twitch is working. Apparently it is because it hasn't gone wonky on me this evening. So once we hit 450, I will schedule the Highlander watch party because it seems like it's taken me forever to get to 450 subscribers. So we're going to celebrate for it. So, but I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you all for your continued support. It is greatly appreciated. So even if this is your first time here, or you have been here since the beginning, know that you are always welcome here. And of course, the minute I say that, Twitch screws up. Son of a bitch. Anyway, you all have a great night. I will see you all tomorrow afternoon and, of course, next week. And until next time, these are the Ambassadors signing off.
Ciao, everybody.